All right, Sam. So let's help out folks who are in the market to buy their first night vision, or they may have bought one of those digital stuff and now they want something better. Uh, Top five technical specs that they need to absolutely pay attention to. One being the most important, and five being the least important, but top five when buying their night vision, and
Sure.
why.
Yeah. So what you're referring to is the data points on a data sheet.
Mhm.
If you have access to data sheets for multiple tubes and you start looking at them and you want to prioritize specs, the number one spec that I'm looking at is signal to noise ratio. That's the king daddy of night vision tube specs. Um, so if you're looking at a thin film system, man, anything like high 20s is really good. If you can get a thin film system above 30, man, that is outstanding. And then the other technology is unfilmed technology. And what I tell guys, if you're looking at SNRs on unfilmed tubes, if you're above 30, that's good. That's a great tube. If you're above, 34, 35, that is an outstanding tube. Um, and those tubes are out there. Like it's fairly easy to find those tubes if you shop around or you request them. They can churn out tubes with mid to high 30s almost in their sleep, and they're very attainable. Now, unfilmed technology is more expensive than thin filmed, but if you've got the budget, freaking go ball. The next one, probably EBI, which stands for equivalent background illumination. It's the tube's ability to see contrast in different objects. So I want to be able to make out, where something starts, where something stops, the border, the edges. Tubes with low EBIs are preferable. Anything, on a mil spec tube, 2.5 is the highest allowable. If you can get something below 1.5, that's awesome. EBI is also affected by temperature. So if you're primarily using night vision in a cold environment, like you live in like Alaska, Montana, or something like that, you can get away with a higher EBI than say somebody who's down in like Texas or whatever. So if you know that you're going to be utilizing night vision in more warm climates, that's where EBI is going to, I would pay more attention to EBI. The next one, probably maybe halo value, which is when you look at light sources, how big that bloom is around the light sources.
Pretty big, yeah.
So if you're utilizing night vision in, like, say, more of an urban environment where there's more lights, more potential for light sources, yeah, you might want to choose a lower halo value for the tube than, say, if you live on a ranch out in the middle of nowhere and you're not really going to be exposed to a lot of ambient light sources or man-made light sources. Like if I was a cop on the Vegas Strip, I'd probably want a lower halo value. So, if you can get below 0.7, that's awesome. 1.0 is the highest allowable. 0.9, totally, it's fine. It's great. But if you're in a high light environment, yeah, you probably want to go lower than 0.7 if you can get it. The next one, luminance gain. Well, luminance gain is basically tube brightness. So that might come into play. Maybe photocathode sensitivity, but usually that translates to good SNRs. So as long as your photocathode is good, you're probably going to rock a pretty good SNR. The one tube spec that a lot of guys can kind of geek out on is line pair or center resolution. So that is basically how many of those little micro channels they can pack into a 1 by 1 millimeter square. It is measured by line pairs per millimeter. And a lot of guys confuse that with actual resolution of the tube. Not so much. And I say that because it may be important, it may not be important. If it is in a 1X helmet mounted system with no magnification, i.e. just your Mark 1 eyeball, you can't tell the difference between 64, 72, 81 line pair tubes. But if you were using a night vision system, like a clip-on night vision system in conjunction with like a day scope where you can cam in that magnification, the magnification as you zoom in can absolutely start to tell the difference. So if you are buying a clip-on night vision system, yeah, you probably want to take into account line pair resolution.
Higher? Like what's the number?
Higher the better.
Okay.
If you're just a goggle, head mounted system, I don't really concern myself too much with it. So those are, again, SNR is king, followed by EBI, and then probably halo value. And then line pair may or may not be important, but probably isn't, because most people, when they buy night vision, they don't buy a clip-on, at least not as their first one.
So I noticed you didn't mention anything about FOM, and everybody in the night vision world always talks about, FOM, high FOM, high FOM.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So yeah, FOM is one of the night vision buzzwords. So FOM is figure of merit. Once night vision got to generation 3, there was really no way to classify it. It was all Gen 3. So we needed a way to figure out classification for export purposes. What countries were allowed to get this, what countries were not, depends on who our allies were. So the State Department came up with figure of merit. By the way, the State Department doesn't really know anything about night vision, so they picked 2 numbers and they were like, we're going to multiply these together, and that's going to be our rating system. It's line pair resolution multiplied by signal noise ratio. And as you heard earlier, signal noise ratio definitely matters.
Yeah.
Line pair resolution probably doesn't matter outside of a couple of
Clip-on,
aspects.
yeah.
So you can have a high FOM tube, but did it get its high FOM rating because it had good SNR, or did it have not so good SNR and higher line pairs, right? So I'm not saying disregard FOM. I'm saying understand what it is and then start asking those pointed questions. Okay, what's the SNR or what's the line pair? So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
No, that is fantastic. No, I'm pretty sure whoever watching this video, they're appreciating this significantly. Because I'm sitting here, I'm like, even though I took your class, man, over at Grant,
It's a good review.
I was there. Yes, I was there. As you explained that to me, I'm like remembering it, everything. It's a refresher for me. And yes, I was one of those suckers who just would only look at FOM.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, this has got 2,400 FOM. It must be amazing. The next thing you know, he's got 19 SNR.
Right.
And like, God knows how many line pair resolution. And now I only.
And you're like, damn.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So very, very good, man. Dude, thanks a lot for your time, brother. Really,
Absolutely,
really
man.
appreciate it.
It's cool to be here.